What's up? This is tbriz with Briz Beats and tbriz Rock Instrumentals. Today we're going to make a boom bap beat by playing all the instruments. We got an E drum kit that we're going to hook up to some boom bap sounds. We got the guitars and basses that I got hanging back here. I'm going to try to lay something down with that. You know what? Let's just listen to what comes out. It's the sample of the final beat, and then I'll do a little tutorial on how we make this. Let's take a listen. There you go, that's the beat that we're going to be making today. There's lots to learn in this video, so stick around and check it out. If you're new here, please subscribe and like the video. Also, leaving a comment really helps the channel grow. I appreciate all the feedback. All right, let's keep that short and let's get into the tutorial. All right, for this track, we're going to start with the drums. I got the E drum kit here. This is an Alesis Nitro drum kit. It's the mesh kit. I think they're going for about $400 right now. It's kind of a lower end E drum kit, but it gets the job done for what I need. But whatever, it's all good. We're going to hook this thing up to the FPC right now. Let me show you how to do that. We got the channel rack here. We're going to go ahead and add an FPC. So you'll see right off the bat, this FPC comes preloaded with a preset kit, right? I could pretty much just start playing these drums and the pads are mapped to the FPC pads in a way that you could just kind of pick up and start playing. Watch. Now, if you notice while I was playing, while I was hitting the pads, they were lighting up on the FPC. And I'll take a quick look at that. Watch, when I hit the kick, you see the kick lights up. When I hit the snare, you see the pad for the snare lights up. Same for every pad on the drum kit. They're pretty much all mapped out for you. I found one exception with my drum kit. Is when I hit this one, my upper right crash cymbal here, or splash cymbal, whatever it would be, this isn't connected to anything. For this exercise, I'm just going to work around it instead of fixing it because I got more than enough to do a boom bap drum piece. So now that we got a little bit of an idea of how this is working, let's change it and put our boom bap drum sounds into these pads. In the FPC, in the top left corner, this little arrow, scroll down to presets, and let's select empty. All right, we're starting from scratch now. Let's put our kick in first. So I got my laptop right here next to me, so when I hit my kick pedal, I can look at the screen. That's where the kick spot is. So I found this kick. I'm gonna drag it over into our kick slot. Now when I hit my kick, as expected, perfect. Let's drop a snare in. We'll hit the snare pad. That's our snare spot. Let's go find a snare. You got a nice dirty snare sound. Let's drag it and drop it in. There we go. Now we got a kick and a snare. Perfect. Basically, we are going to do this for every other pad that we want to play today. So I'm going to find my hi-hat, I'm going to find my open hi-hat, and I'm going to drag in sounds to all the places that I want. Let's fast forward to having this all filled in with sounds. Okay, I dragged in all the sounds that I wanted to use. I kept it pretty limited. I didn't fill it in with toms or anything else. Standard kicks and snares, little ride cymbal, and one crash cymbal. We're going to use this setup to make a simple boom bap beat. I want to note another thing that I did with this FPC is let's click on our kick drum. So if you notice when I hit my kick, you see it's on insert 2, and when I hit my snare, it's on insert 3. I even named them too to make this a little bit more organized. How I did that was we have the FPC routed to insert 1. But then inside the FPC, we can route these individual pads to the inserts to the right of insert 1. So for instance, here's the kick. You see it's outputting 1. That's 1 ahead from the one that we have here. So it's on 2. Here's the snare. You see that's on 2. That's 2 ahead from where the FPC is routed. That's why we have the FPC on 1, the drums 1 ahead, the snare 2 ahead. Then we have the hi-hat 3 ahead, 4 ahead, 5 ahead, 6 ahead. And you'll see those numbers in here. The hi-hat is 3. The open hi-hat is 4. and so on. That's just routing those to different inserts so we can do our levels separately and even do some individual mixing on these sounds. I have a video, it's the beginner basics on the FPC. It's on my channel. I'll link it down in the description if you're interested in watching that. So let's leave this setup the way it is for now and let's record these drums. Let's lay down a beat so we can get on to the other instruments. We're gonna need to set a tempo. So let's right click and let's do tap. And the cool thing about the tap is you can actually use like your hi-hat to tap in the tempo. So if you wanna, see that tempo's got me dialed in right around 160. Good for me, let's leave that. I'm gonna right click this record button. I'm gonna make sure I'm on notes. Audio is unchecked, clips is unchecked, automation is unchecked, notes only. Oh, and before I forget, I wanna put the metronome on. So let's click that. That's gonna help us stay in time while we're playing our drum beat. So you don't have to nail it perfect. Just start recording, play for a couple minutes, and then edit out your best parts. All right, let's start recording. Let's lay down that beat. Okay, I laid down the drums and let's see. I played for 2 minutes and 43 seconds straight. I have this entire length, 2 minutes and 43 drum seconds of live drums. Well, live-ish sounding drums because you know we played them with the E-drum kit. But now I'm going to pop through here and all I'm really looking for is maybe 4 bars. For example, I highlighted this one section here that sounded pretty good. It was in time enough. It had a swing and it had a feel that I liked. Zooming in on it now. Let's play that back and take a listen. See, it stutters a little bit at the end, so I don't love it, but I got something in here somewhere that's right where I need it to be. All right, after hunting around, I found 2 drum parts that are pretty similar, but one has a ride cymbal and one has a hi-hat, keeping the main tempo. Here's the pattern, it's called drums ride. Let's take a listen to what this sounds like. I picked this out. And now here's that other pattern, drums hi-hat. So what's nice about both these patterns is you get that humanistic feel and that humanistic swing. Not all these notes are played perfectly, and that's good. Specifically, what jumps out at me is you could see the hi-hats are a little bit off. They're not perfectly on the mark because I was playing it by hand. This kick isn't perfectly on the mark. This kick is a little way off the mark, but it gives it some swing, and it actually sounds good there, I think. Let's listen right here. It's a little bit delayed, more delayed than if I were to put it right here, which is where it would normally be if it was right on the mark. Cool. Anyway, I took those drum parts, I arranged them into this pattern. Let's hook up the bass guitar and try to get a cool, like a groovy hip hop, maybe funk, bass line, I don't know. Let's just play it and see what comes out. I'm gonna go right here to insert number 8. I have my audio interface hooked up and I know that my bass is coming in through in 3. So let's do that. Let's rename this in bass. What I like to do is unhook it from the master and hook it over here and use this as my bass track. See, this is armed for recording, so I'm gonna right click it. Got to do it twice sometimes. And see, it would name it like this, but what we want to just name it is just bass. So that way when the audio file gets saved, it's named bass. I see a lot of people getting into music and they're getting into beat making and they don't know how to play instruments and they focus on working within the piano roll, and that's great. The tools that we have nowadays are really fantastic to help us create music. But I would suggest if you don't know how to play an instrument that you should just pick one up that you're interested in, start playing. It's only gonna make you better. All right, so let's lay down this bass line. All right, I found a bass line pretty quickly today. I got about 48 seconds worth of material, but I just know which take was good, so I'm going to edit it out from the playlist. I'm going to use my cut tool and find these spots and cut them just like this. and then take the good ones and structure them and take the bad stuff and delete it. So I found the two 8-bar parts of the bass that I liked. Let's go ahead and make them unique as sample, why not? Bass P1 for part 1, and then let's make this one unique as sample. Bass P2 for now is good, so we got part 1 and part 2. Then I'm going to highlight them like this, and I'm going to hit Control B, and I'm going to let those stretch to the end of the song as well, so now I can jam out on the guitar and lay some guitar parts down on top of this. So let's just move forward and lay down some guitar parts. Pretty much what we did for the bass is what we're going to do for the guitar. Let's make sure to disarm the in for the bass for recording. We don't want to record that anymore. Also, what I like to do is turn this fader all the way down just to completely turn off any audio coming into that insert. We're going to go on insert 10, and then we're going to set this up the exact same way we set up the bass, except we're going to use inserts 10 and 11. So here's what it looks like now, and then here's what it looks like after we got it all set up. We've got our in for the guitar, and we got the actual guitar track right next to it. We're already set on audio, so that's good. Armed to record. All right, let's lay down some guitar. So as I was trying to lay down a guitar part, I realized that that bass line was just a little too much for me. It needed to be simpler, at least for the main loop in the beat that we're working on today. Maybe all that walking up the scale would be good for the chorus part, but for the main loop, I wanted something simpler. So let's take a listen. I'll show you what we're doing here. Right now the bass is like this. Dun, dun. It goes up, it goes higher. Dun, dun, dun. And it goes even higher. And it keeps going higher. Dun, 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 dun. There's a lot of notes, there's a lot of movement, but you know what I said? For a grimy boom bap beat, all we really need is this part. Yeah. It's that simple with boom bap. That's it. Bum. So you know what we do with that? We sample from our own stuff. Okay, so I started a new arrangement up here. I've gone and restructured the bass. For the most part, it's that one loop over and over. Let's see, we might change it later. All right, then I recorded some guitar. This is the main part of the guitar. We cut that loop out, and then we want the little variation part as well. So where's that variation part? I found the variation part right at the end. All right, it works well together. And you know what? In the structure, I wound up putting our original bass line back in because I'm thinking it could be a chorus part. And now this is how we do it when we're creating beats. You got to keep trying different things. We changed the verse part of the bass to just be that one simple loop, but it doesn't mean we have to completely throw away that entire bass riff that was originally written. Maybe there is a place for it. So let's try it out. Let's put it here. Let's try to build around it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we take it out, put something else there later. So with that bass line that kept moving higher up on the scale, the one that we chopped down, I wound up playing this guitar part over it. Let's see. I think that fits pretty good, so I'm going to leave it in for now. So listening to this back, I'm going to change the arrangement on this a little bit. I think that I got two drum parts that we talked about in the beginning. These four and these four. Since we sort of have a chorus part going, let's use the drum part with the ride cymbal to separate the full original bass melody that goes higher up the scale. It keeps going up. That's going to be this part right here. So we could also separate that by using the drums with the ride cymbals here. So I'm going to remove everything else because I sort of have a structure in place now. Let's take this and do Control B and move it out. So we have a nice runway, as I like to call it, to jam over. And let's listen to what the new structure sounded like now, because we're arranging this as we go and it's just taking a different shape and it's coming together. Let's listen. There you go. Arrangement wise, this is making a lot more sense to me now. Also, arranging as we go, a little touch like this makes a difference to my ear. Right now the guitars have this extra hit right here. Listen. So for me, I just kind of heard that there was too much. And this one last note, I'm holding Alt and dragging back and I'm pulling out that last note. And this gives it a little bit more space to breathe with that last bass note right here. Watch. And I'll leave it here. But since I went and changed that here, I've also got to change that in the rest of my loops. We're going to start over. Basically, this entire part is the full structured loop now. I'm going to take this full structured loop and hit Control B, and I'm going to push that all the way out. Let's move forward and add another layer to this. So I went ahead and added a contact instrument here. Big Fish Audio Vintage Strings. We're using the 12 violin sustain plus staccato patch. Let me close that out. Let's start a new pattern. Call it strings. And now let's just hit the record button and record a strings part. There you go, a little string section to go on top of that 90s boom bap feel. At this point, I do some more mixing, some more arranging, maybe add some more layers. But for this video, we're going to call it a day, and that's it. Guys, if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button on the video. Leave a comment down in the comment section. It really helps the channel grow. I'm going to let this beat play out in the outro, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.